Well, hello, friends. It's Mark Holmes here with my buddy Cowboy Joe Boo. And as always, thank you guys for watching, commenting, and subscribing to the Joe Boo Sports Report. Because without you guys, man, it would just be hard to get through with the Dallas Cowboys. Now, for all of you guys and girls out there that have gotten your Joe Boo shot glass, you need to grab them right now. And I mean, you definitely need to pour yourself a refill because the Dallas Cowboys will make you drink. Just got some news. We had heard earlier that Dez Bryant was late reporting for conditioning, testing, and physical. I'm going to pour myself a little bit here too. See if that helps to knock out the cold. And I know it's a shame to be putting this kind of rum on ice with limes, but, you know, I'm sorry. I'm just like that. Dez reported 3 hours late because he was supposedly under the weather. Probably too much potato salad that had been out in the sun from that barbecue that he put on for 15,000 people. Now, we're hearing that David Irving was a no-show today for conditioning and testing drills and stuff. We already know he's going to be suspended for 4 games for PEDs, and I was looking for him to be a big part for that defense. And with him not showing up, it's a $40,000 fine. Now, most of you are thinking that, well, that's not big money to these NFL players. But when you're a guy like David Irving, and you're only being paid $600,000. That's a big chunk of change. So there's no reason why, or no word of where he is, or where he was, or where if he's coming in, or whatever. We don't know what's up. We don't know if it's a contract holdout. We don't know if it's family emergency. We don't know if he had some Dez Bryant potato salad and got sick. And by the way, Dez, or anybody who's friends with Dez, dude, where was my invitation to the party? Come on, man. We're here spreading the mojo. Couldn't you spread a little bit of barbecue our way? So, before we get into all the topic stuff tonight, let me give a shout out to all of you great fans out there. We'll start out with, I know How About Them Cowboys is the first one to chime in. Medicated Zombie, I Am Infinite, Dak Knight, Sarah Green. How you doing, Sarah? I know you missed last week, but I'm glad you're back. Quentin Sandman, Rob Bird, Cyberlink, Moore. I'm sorry, I don't have my glasses on, so it's kind of hard to see this. Dak Knight, Cotton Davis, Justin Bleach, Bill B, Social Sanity. Man, there's too many of you guys to name, and this thing is flying through. But I got to tell you, I had a revelation here. Because you may have seen the video earlier today where I was just basically like Samuel L. Jackson, because I am so sick and tired of all the bullshit that you would think that there is never any problems in the NFL except with the Dallas Cowboys. There's nobody busted for PEDs other than the Dallas Cowboys. There's nobody pulled over for drunk driving other than the Dallas Cowboys. There's nobody arrested other than the Dallas Cowboys. But when you think about the world champions, and one of you great fans out there, because I saw the comment before it came on, remind me about Aaron Hernandez. You know? We haven't had an Aaron Hernandez here in Dallas the last I checked. Or a Ray Carew. You know, guys that have killed other people and things. No. We have the same amount of problems and all that, just like every cross-section of society. If you take 1,000 people, I guarantee you, in that 1,000 people, you're going to find some straight people, some gay people. You're going to find some people that have common sense, and you're going to find some idiots. You're going to find people who just blow through money. You're going to find some that might be pedophiles and sexual deviants. It's just the way it is. It just so happens that they play football, but they have the other issues like the rest of us. We always want to put people that are actors or football players or politicians up here at this level up here like they're a different person. But guess what? Their doo-doo stinks too. They have gas. They have mental issues. They do stupid shit as well. Just like the rest of us. We're all human. Oh my goodness, we got a super chat already tonight?
One hell of a job, and only thing else
from Space Cowboy. Thank you very much, Space Cowboy. Space Cowboy. Zeke getting suspended would go against our idea of justice and supposed. You know what? Here's the thing, Space Cowboy. I agree with you 100% because you are supposedly innocent until proven guilty. So here's the thing. If the police couldn't find anything for an investigation, if the district attorney couldn't find anything, if you have witnesses that are saying she's lying and tried to get me to lie, where's this domestic violence? And what drives me crazy is every time you read an article, they say Zeke Elliott is waiting for the NFL's response to his domestic violence charge. There is no charge. So you slap yourself because you just lied on Zeke Elliott because you're not putting out the facts. It's alleged domestic violence. And the thing about it is, if the NFL goes through and suspends him because they think there's possibly domestic violence, it's opening up Pandora's box so that way anybody can say, you know what, if you leave me, I'm going to go ahead and say that you beat me. Or you're going to have people like used to happen with Charles Barkley. People would look for Charles Barkley because they know he's a hothead, and if he hits me, I'm going to get paid. So they can't do it. I still believe that they're just putting it out there, making him hold and wait and everything else just to try and make him stop and think, but I don't think Zeke is thinking. Now, supposedly, the NFLPA and Zeke Elliott have both responded to what's come back from the NFL. There's no word from anybody else what exactly has transpired between the two of them. So we'll find out hopefully sometime soon next week. But that whole situation is literally driving me to drink, and it's just insane. Quentin, yeah, Dwayne Harris. See, that's where I think Dwayne Harris, I don't know if you guys have heard this, Dwayne Harris has been talking about the Dallas Cowboys and saying that he thinks that the Dallas Cowboys are in a better position than the New York Giants. And quite frankly, it's kind of hard to argue that. We've definitely got a better offensive line because the Giants' offensive line stinks. We definitely got a better running back, that's provided the NFL doesn't suspend him, than they do. Quarterback, Eli Manning's a turnover machine. Now, the Giants have a much better defense, at least last year they did, than the Cowboys. But when you look at the offensive side of the ball, yeah, Dwayne Harris is sitting there thinking like, damn, was that extra money worth it going to New York? Maybe I should have stayed in Dallas and been part of that. And that's where you are with guys like Terrence Williams. He's seen guys like DeMarco Murray go to Philadelphia and get paid, but then not have the fun that he had in Dallas. So you're seeing something that's evolving really nicely for the Cowboys as people are realizing they're finally building something big. They're starting out with young talent. They're putting stuff together. They're getting guys that are focused, and people see that's a team that's going someplace, a team that I want to be with. The Giants, on the other hand, I'm sorry, but they're getting close to needing to start all over. Eli Manning does not have that many years left to be that great of a quarterback, and I already think that he's already sliding. But that's me. And I know a lot of you guys out there who aren't Cowboy fans are saying, I'm just a hater, but I'm being honest with you. Eli Manning does not have it like he did before, and he's doing too many turnovers. So, before I get any further, what I was saying about the Dallas Cowboys, part of the reason why I think everybody hates us is because you're the top gun. Everybody wants to be a Dallas Cowboy fan. Everywhere I go here in the Washington, D.C. area, I always see Dallas Cowboy fans. I wear my Cowboys gear. You get the, hey, what's up? So, I was wearing this. I'm going past a Jeep that had a Cowboys cover on the wheel and everything else. So you got a couple of people that are, yeah, how about them Cowboys and everything else? We are literally worldwide. And evidence of that is that even an idiot with a voodoo doll like me can have fans and subscribers like you guys all across the world. I'm not saying you guys are stupid for subscribing to me, but I started playing around with the whole YouTube stuff. You guys know I'm old and technology challenged, so it takes me a while to get to some of this stuff. But I started looking at the countries where some of you guys are. And as I go through the list, of course, the United States, we know we have plenty of people in the United States that are Joe Boo fans. That's a given. But then we have Mexico, we got Canada, United Kingdom. Okay, that makes sense. But as we keep going down the list, we've got Australia, shout out to Brazil, Germany, Bahamas, Japan, Philippines, New Zealand, Thailand, Netherlands, Saudi Arabia, Argentina, Colombia, Jamaica, France, India, South Korea, Kuwait, Russia, Sweden, Italy, Afghanistan. I know that's some of the American soldiers. Thank you guys for keeping us safe. But the list continues to go on. There's 223 countries out there that are listening to the Joe Boo Sports Report. And I got to thank each and every one of you guys. But as I go through here, there's some countries here that I probably can't even find on the map if I wanted to. I mean, we've got Denmark, Peru, Romania, Vietnam, Ireland, Puerto Rico, Turkey, United Arab Immigrants, Barbados, Belize, Chile, Djibouti. I don't know who got the booty, but we definitely got Djibouti in the house. Spain, Indonesia, Panama, Portugal, Costa Rica, Guatemala, Hong Kong, Jordan, Kenya, Laos, Sri Lanka, Malaysia, Nicaragua. That's just the first 50 of you guys. I didn't know you guys even liked football. So shout out to you guys, the fans, because that's what this whole thing is about. Now, team is going to be heading out to Oxnard tomorrow. And thank God we finally have football on the field. Hopefully, maybe by Monday or Tuesday, we'll get the NFL to finally say, well, we investigated Zeke Elliott and we found nothing wrong, and yada, yada, yada. And we're not going to spend him, but basically we're going to watch him. Hopefully that's what we hear come Monday or Tuesday. But from here on out, we're talking about practice. Not a game yet, but we're talking about practice. So I'm excited about that. And to let you guys know, I'll probably be booking my flight. Me and Michael will be headed out to Oxnard August 9th, 10th, 11th, and we will be at the game in Los Angeles. So we're looking to try and do a little tailgating. So any of you people who will be at the training camp, we'll be looking for you guys to get you on the Joe Boo Sports Report, as well as hopefully have a nice tailgate to kind of start the season off right. Here we go. Another super chat from Space Cowboy.
One hell of a job, and the only thing else I got to say is, how about them Cowboys?
Oh, man. My bad. Great point, Space Cowboy. Sorry, you got to understand. Space Cowboy just pointed out that I missed the super chat from How About Them Cowboys. Let me go ahead and get back to that. I am literally a one-man show, and the stream starts flying through when we have a lot of you guys like we do tonight, and I missed that. I apologize. How About Them Cowboys? Let me see if I can go back and find you. Okay. Yeah. How About Them Cowboys? Let's hit you up on that.
And the only thing else I got to say is, how about them Cowboys?
Apologize on that. How About Them Cowboys? I missed your super chat there, but I appreciate each and every one of you guys doing the super chats. It's hard to do all this by myself. As this grows, I may need to figure out a way to get some more people involved, because I've literally got one computer right here. I've got the computer that's in front of me with the cameras and stuff that's got all of your questions and stuff on there. And I've got the different cameras and everything. I have to work all this together. And you guys know I'm technology challenged. But How About Them Cowboys was talking about Landon Collins from New York Giants, who basically said that the Dallas Cowboys, what Dak Prescott said about winning the NFC East, would definitely not win. So, it's funny how you're getting two sides of the fence from the Giants. You got Dwayne Harris saying, yeah, they're the better looking team. You got Collins basically saying, nah, they're not going to win it. But that's all good, because we'll find out in, I believe, 45 days how good we are. And I'm praying that all of the offseason issues takes our team and basically gets them that bunker mentality that gets everybody together. So we just basically say it's literally us against the world. We're not going to get any breaks from the officials. We're not going to get any breaks from the league. So let's go out there and win the whole fucking thing. Bottom line, that's what you got to do. That's the only way to shut all these haters up, because they're coming after the Cowboys because they know they're the top dog as far as fans go. And if you talk bad about them, you're going to get the rest of the NFL back there. That's why you hear all this stuff about us. I see Holy Ways is in here tonight too. He was trying to light a fire under his team. Okay, well, yeah, that's a great point. He is. And Me personally, I'm old school. Um, New school is, of course, the Odell Beckhams. You're going to have guys that are just talking a whole lot of smack and everything else and telling you, look at me. I am still kind of that old school guy who believes in.
Hell of a job. And the only thing else I got to say is,
Thank you. How about them Cowboys? Yeah, they did bring in a couple running backs for workouts today. I think that's more of camp bodies than anything else because I think actually with the potential of Zeke maybe being suspended, means that Alfred Morris will definitely probably still be on the team. And of course, you've got Run DMC that's still there too. So they're just bringing in other bodies. You're going to see some other. They're going to be bringing people in and kicking tires on a lot of guys. I don't think it necessarily means a whole lot. I still don't believe that the NFL will suspend Zeke Elliott. I think if they had something definite on him, they would have already done this thing. It wouldn't be dragging out. You can't tell me that they've been investigating a year, and if they found something that the police didn't, that they wouldn't have already come out with it. Not when they've gone through with Adam Jones's deal, and they've already suspended him. His thing happened in January. You look at Darrell Revis; they took care of that whole situation in a month. So if they had something, they would have already come out with it. They're just kind of just dangling him out there with the what ifs and putting a shadow on the Dallas Cowboys beginning training camp. Yeah, Aisha, you're very right. That's where I say there's always a double standard of stuff because, like you said, Dak says that we're going to win the NFC East. You're right. They say he's cocky, but the Giants say it. Oh well, they're just speaking the truth. Yeah, okay. But it's the same thing that I was talking about because you guys will know Michael, my son. We had a nice conversation in one of those videos, and everybody always said like, "Oh my God, I can't believe Michael speaks." But Michael was going through and saying, "Yeah, they need to suspend Zeke Elliott, because he keeps getting in trouble." But I said, "Well, wait a minute, hold on, let's stop for a second, because what trouble has Zeke gotten into? There was Boobygate, and like I've said, I'm not justifying what he did. So, ladies, don't get it twisted." But if you look at the situation that was going on, there's another woman behind him that just before he pulled her top down, she pulled hers out and they're going around. I'm telling you, this was like a Mardi Gras event where it was peak boobies. Okay? And so with her basically going, I mean, if there's another meaning here, ladies, Debbie, let me know if there's another meaning when you go like this and then point to him. To me, that's like, look at my boobs, look at Zeke, look at my boobs, look at Zeke, that she was helping to instigate it. Again, don't get it twisted. I'm not saying that he should have done that because he's got to understand he's got a target on his back. TMZ is making a killing off of him, and they're looking for anything they can on him. But there's other things that are going on that are a lot worse that people are doing. Take a look at Gronk. Gronk is literally falling out drunk on the floor. Gronk is motorboating strange women and stuff. Gronk has got a cruise, a whole cruise with 15,000 people on it. That's a drunken debauchery. But we're talking about Zeke showing up in a club and somebody else starts to fight. You're telling me that that's apples and oranges? That's just, what is this? That he gets condemned, but Gronkowski doesn't? So when Dak Prescott has the most unreal rookie season, people are still saying that Carson Wentz is a better prospect. 5 years from now, Carson Wentz will be the better quarterback. And I'm kind of like, huh? Didn't he only throw 4 interceptions the whole season? Didn't he take the same team that went 4-12 last year with 2 veteran quarterbacks and go 13-3 into the playoffs? Didn't he almost beat Aaron Rodgers coming back 21-3, except for some bad calls from the officials and some miracle plays by Aaron Rodgers? And you're saying that guy is a bum? What the? Did I miss something? I, I just don't understand it. So let me get to some of your guys' comments and stuff here. Jessica Brown, I didn't want to put it there that way, but yeah, it's true. I hate to say that, but it's looked totally different because I think it is. And I hate to say that in my lifetime, I didn't think that we would still be dealing with race. I mean, when I tell you guys I'm old, I am old. I am so old that when I was born, a black man or a black and white could not marry each other. Seriously. I was the first class to integrate in elementary school. So that's how old I am. So when we start looking at race, you would think that this stuff would change. You would think that after Doug Williams won the Super Bowl with an incredible second quarter on one leg, that it wouldn't be about the black quarterback and things. But unfortunately, we still have these situations that are still there. And I guess maybe it'll never change. I don't know. But I don't know if it's completely that it's a black-white thing or it's a Dallas Cowboy thing and nobody wants to ever give the Cowboys credit. We definitely. Well, here's the thing, Shallow Hal. We need everybody on this team to win. It's it's going to be a tough season when you start looking at some of the games that we're playing. I still think Atlanta's going to go downhill, but Atlanta's still a good team. They've got a great offense. Our division. It doesn't matter what the records are. Every game in the division is always a dogfight. When you start looking at Green Bay, we've always got Green Bay on the schedule. We got Seattle. We've got
One hell of a job.
another super chat.
I got to say, how about that, Cowboys?
There are some. Well, here's the thing. We're still a little bit early before this final round of free agents, Josh. I'd like to see who's going to get cut because you're going to see some great veterans that are out there that have become expendable because you've got rookies in there. Their contracts are too much, or they're looking at this rookie or young guys to take their place. So there are going to be some guys out there that could possibly help our team. I can't say who those are going to be just yet, but I'm hoping that, especially with David Irving not showing up for training camp, that kind of makes me wonder where's his head at right now. And with him being suspended for 4 games, you may want to look at getting an extra pass rusher in there. I know we have a lot of bodies, but if you can find a premier pass rushing guy, that 800-pound gorilla or that war daddy, as Jerry Jones likes to call it, that you want to bring that guy in because that pass rush will help our linebacking core as well as help our defensive backs. Now, we did go ahead and re-sign Justin Durant. I think he's more of an insurance policy to see what happens with Damian Wilson because Damian Wilson was planning on having a bigger role this year than he did last year. And as I said before, everybody's talking about how good Jalen Smith's looking, and he's saying he's 100%. But I'm telling you, it takes time to come back from what he had happen to that knee. You can't just walk on the field and think that he's going to be an all-pro linebacker from Jump Street. And the Cowboys are going to be taking their time and bringing him in, basically practicing on and off every other day. So don't look for him to be a starter week 1 or be an impactful player right in the beginning of the season. You're going to need somebody else in there. You're going to need some good warm bodies that are going to help us out. So, yeah, they definitely are not standing pat with where they are now. They're always going to be looking to upgrade because you never know who might be there. Right, David, there is no premier pass rusher right now, but you don't know who's going to be cut, and there will be some surprise cuts before the end of training camp. Eli Manning is a Hall of Famer. Okay, says Eli Manning. My stream is lagging. Okay, hold on. Let me check a setting here real quick and see if I can help with that. Hold on. Just give me 1 second here. See if I can help on the stream. I apologize on that. Actually going to get a different computer that should help with the streaming. I need to bump up the capacity on the computer system I have. I'm actually doing this with a laptop, but I need to go ahead and get a desktop, and that's one of the things that where you guys do super chats and stuff, that's also going to help. I'm constantly trying to upgrade everything here. I did the bigger desk and stuff here, did lighting, did the monitors and stuff, different cameras. It takes time and stuff, and of course, money to do that. And having time and money is not something I always have a whole lot of. As you guys know, I stay quite busy. In fact, you'll notice my voice sounds a little bit hoarse, and I've probably got bloodshot eyes because the last 3 nights I've only had 4 hours sleep each night because I've been doing a night shift and having to go in the morning too. So it gets to be a lot to try and keep up, but I have to make sure I take care of you guys, the fans, first and foremost. Sarah, I'm praying that you are right about that. I feel good about that because basically the reason why this channel grew the way it did and a lot of you found me is because of Dak Prescott. I believed in Dak Prescott from the first time I saw him at the Senior Bowl last year, and I was kind of like, I was going there to look at Carson Wentz thinking the Cowboys might try and make a move to pull up to him. And then I saw Dak Prescott because I'm not a big college follower. I don't watch a whole lot of college football, so I didn't necessarily know much about him. But once I saw him play, I started investigating. I'm like, this guy's got all of the tools and stuff. And lo and behold, here he is, Dak Prescott looking great. And I'm going to tell you how much I believed in Dak Prescott. My son's birthday is next week, the 27th. And for his birthday last year, I got him a Dak Prescott jersey. And at that time, you couldn't just go buy a Dak Prescott jersey. It was a third-string quarterback. Nobody had Dak Prescott jerseys. So I went to my boy, Mike Mosh, and I said, Mike, I need a Dak Prescott jersey. He's like, Dak Prescott? You mean the third-string quarterback? I said, yeah, I need a Dak Prescott jersey, custom-made for my son. He said, Dak Prescott, you mean the third-string quarterback? I said, yes. I said, the guy is going to be a baller, and I want to get this jersey for my son. So this time, last year, before he moved up from third string, I got the Dak Prescott jersey that my son has and has now autographed. So I believed in him and put my money behind him last year. So I'm happy that he's played well, and I'm hoping that he ends up shutting up more and more of these doubters. The great thing that you have to understand about Dak Prescott is, first of all, and everything that's happened is following through, is everywhere he's went, he wasn't the guy. Every place he went, he wasn't supposed to be the starter. But for whatever reason, he became the starter. He never let it go. And when you think about Tony Romo, think about it. Tony Romo, the face of the Dallas Cowboys for the last 10 years. The guy who most years we didn't do anything unless Tony Romo took us there because Tony Romo was the only thing we had. He played so good that that guy couldn't get back on the field. That should tell you a lot. And it wasn't like there was no pressure. Every freaking week, every freaking pass that he made, every move was overanalyzed more than anybody else in the NFL. You listen to idiots like Eric Davis who would say, he's leaving a lot on the field. Yeah, he's leaving a lot of interceptions on the field because he's not making them. But Dak Prescott literally did a first down to Cole Beasley. And Eric Davis is saying, but there's a guy over here on this side who was wide open as well. Okay, but didn't he just get the first down? Didn't he move the chains? Didn't he take the team in for a touchdown? So the fact that he's taking the high percentage play, completing them, winning, one of the highest scoring teams in the league, you're still saying that that's not good enough? When you look at some of the other guys like Eli Manning, who's fumbling, 2-3 times a game, when you look at some of the quarterback play out there, you're saying that the guy who started out as third string is not good enough? So literally week after week after week, everybody scrutinized it. Everybody kept saying, oh, if he has a bad half, they should put Tony Romo in it. And even when they were winning, well, they weren't winning big enough, they should put Tony Romo in it. So the guy's been under pressure, and he stood up to it, and he stared it down. And I think that psychology master's degree that he has, I think that might have a little bit to do with it. I think his upbringing from his mother has taught him a lot and valued making sure you don't turn the ball over. And that's the biggest thing that you have to understand, at least in my mind, because a turnover, an interception is basically possibly a 14-point swing. It's a momentum changer. It's going to change the complexion of a game. You don't believe me? Take a look at our team. You can go through our past history where we've been up and we've had a pick. All of a sudden, the momentum shifts and everything, boom, before you know it, you've lost a big lead because of that first interception. Then you start going back to the well again, and then you got another one. All of a sudden, the route is on. How is Wentz overrated? Well, we'll see how Wentz does this year. I made a prediction, Holy Ways, that I had a lot more Eagle trolls last year. Other than you, I'm sorry, you're not a troll. You're actually here consistently, and I appreciate that. And when your Eagles go down the toilet this year, I hope that you'll still be here talking about your team, because win, lose, or draw, I will be here talking about my Cowboys. I'm not a fair weather fan. When my team sucks, I will admit my team sucks, and I'll be the first one to say that. But I said last year before the season, not this time, I said I think Jared Goff and Carson Wentz would both be busts. Carson Wentz started out real hot, but he started kind of digressing as the season went on. Now, this year, you guys say you have a great offensive line. So you're saying you have a better offensive line than the Dallas Cowboys. You now have some weapons for him. So it'll be interesting to see, does he step up or does he continue that downward spiral that he had last year? Time will tell. Got another shout out there. How about them Cowboys? Thank you, How About Them Cowboys, for donating to the cause and the Patreon account. It's weird for me to even do the super chats and do the Patreon account and stuff. But what I'm doing is, you guys who watch the show, I always say it's not about me. It's not about Joe Boo. It's about all of us together. I am about the Cowboys. I love talking about the Cowboys. That's the reason why, no matter how tired I am, no matter what I'm doing, I will find time to talk about my Dallas Cowboys and shoot a video. And that's part of the reason why you'll see videos with me. I may be in the kitchen cooking. I may be in my workshop because I got stuff I got to do. I may be walking out to my truck because I'm at work and I'm on a break because I want to talk about my Cowboys. It makes my day to talk about my Cowboys and read some of your responses, because you guys make me think about stuff that I've forgotten, because I'm kind of old and I've been hitting the head a lot of times. So, I think I have a little Alzheimer's that might be setting in. But I enjoy doing this so much that when we did the draft, I met a lot of you guys, and I had the best time sitting around talking to you guys. And to me, it would be fantastic if I had Des Bryant money and we could just do like a big barbecue, get $15,000 worth of food, but make sure that the coleslaw doesn't get anybody sick. But I want to do a bunch of tailgating and stuff and make it like an open party for all of us Joe Boo fans, and basically live stream it so that way you guys who aren't there can feel a part of the sights and sounds of the tailgate. And if you haven't been to a game before, the tailgating sometimes is just as good, if not better, than the game. Talking trash with some of the enemy teams and stuff, especially with the Redskins. Oh, it's always so much fun. And sitting there having, some good food, having a few drinks, joking, reminiscing about the team stuff in the past. So that's what I'm working towards. The money that I get from this channel, I put back into this channel and put into it to help it grow to become something more than what it is. And so I appreciate How About Them Cowboys going to my Patreon page and supporting it there. I appreciate all the super chats. I appreciate people. If you really want to help donate money, buy a shot glass or buy a Joe Boo t-shirt, because to me, then I feel better because you're getting something from me as opposed to just saying, here's cash. So that's enough of that, and that's all I have to say about that. And Joey, I have got to watch, and I'm going to do it as soon as we're done tonight, watching the Dak documentary. I have literally not seen TV this whole week. I have literally been working my regular job, and I think I put 60 hours this week, and I'm trying to get these windows and stuff together so I can take them down this weekend and get them in on this house built in 1820 that I've got to get renovated, because I'm going to have the city mad at me because it was gifted to me to renovate and I haven't been able to work on it. So I've been working on that stuff, and I have been talking about the Dallas Cowboys, and we've had the whole Zeke saga of, the bar. We've got the NFL talking about suspending him. We've got all this stuff that's just been going on. So literally, I have not had enough time to even sit down and watch the Dak documentary. But when I am done here tonight, I will definitely be doing that. Yes, how about them Cowboys? I will make your video about the documentary. But the Cliff Notes on that is Dak was raised by his mother. His father wasn't really there, although his father is now in his life. I know that for a fact from some people that know the family and everything else. But his mother, they definitely didn't have a whole lot of money and things like that, taught him to be the man that he is. She instilled a lot of his values and everything else into him. And God bless her. Wish she was still here and everything else to see him blow up. But, maybe Jerry needs to move the big screen TV so that she can look down with God and watch him play in Texas. You have a half TV head and Peyton Manning has a full TV head. Laugh out loud. I'm sorry, I don't get that one. There's Jag the Jester. How you doing tonight? And cooking videos. Yeah, I did a video when I was in my garage because I actually do have 2 other channels. I just don't do a whole lot of stuff on there, but I need to do more. A lot of people will see me cook, and a lot of people say I can cook really well. And they ask me, hey, man, how did you do that? Or what do you put in that? Or how can I do that? So there's actually probably about 15 different recipes. If you go to Spread the Mojo, that's my cooking channel. And then the Red Brick House, which is a house I'm renovating, that's probably got about 15 or 20 videos on it as well. It's a house that was originally built as a school in 1820 that I now own, and I'm working on renovating it. So it's giving you a look at how it is now and as we're going through the building process. So I like to think that I'm a man of many talents, self-taught on all of them. Suspend Zeke, not. But it's your brother. Oh. Jag the Jester's thoughts on Lake Jackson. Says Jags going. The Jags are going to the Super Bowl. Yeah, they can buy a ticket. I would love to see that. Antonio, to see Taco playing really well. So I want you guys to name who you think is going to be the one player that really steps up the game that nobody thinks about. Because there's always somebody who comes out of left field that you're not thinking about. David Irving was that guy last year who took it up to another level. Collins was another guy you didn't expect to have a whole lot. Anthony Brown was another one who started off slow, being thrown into the fire, but by the end of the season actually had some of the best numbers per completion in the NFL in the last 8 games of the season. So who do you think is going to be that guy who steps up that you're not expecting a lot? I think Doodle Bob, that's a new one. He's calling it, saying the Cowboys will go to the Super Bowl this year. I got to tell you, I would love to see that. Oh, God, I would love to see that. And I got to tell you, you guys remember when I was talking about the draft contest that United Way had? And I got the privilege of taking pictures of the draft winners. And, we literally, second night of the draft, sat in the front row of the draft. When Drew Pearson was up there shouting down the Eagle fans, I was right there with Michael and Joe Boo, literally 20 feet from him. And we were shouting down the Eagles. It was so loud that we couldn't hear. So this contest, see you later. Oh, Mark Sampson, shout out to England. That's one of those great fans over there. He is up, and it's 3 o'clock in the morning in England. Thank you very much, Mark, for hanging in here. They had an all-access pass, including making a pick on the 3rd day. Well, guess what? I'm going to give you guys a little early tip. United Way and the NFL are going to be doing another one, but this trip is for the Super Bowl. And we're talking about tickets to the commissioner's party. We're talking about seat on the 50-yard line. We're talking about seeing the dress rehearsal for the halftime show. That's going to start when the season starts. And here's the really cool thing. I don't know if it's a perk or not. The winners, I will be there with them filming it. So it may be a possibility that it could be one of you guys that happens to go through. But we'll talk about that more as it comes up. the United Way and NFL are working on the whole package and stuff. So I kind of know a little bit about it because that's what my wife does with United Way. But when it happens, guys, I told you guys before, try out for this thing, do this thing, because I wanted one of you guys to win it. And I would love to be able to spend the Super Bowl with one of you guys. And I would love to see our Dallas Cowboys there at the Super Bowl. Dan Skipper. Well, that would be interesting. Now, Dan is a big, big guy. And being a tackle, sometimes being that tall is actually a detriment to you because defensive linemen that are quick can get down low. In football, it's generally speaking the low guy is going to win because he's got the leverage. So it'll be interesting to see how Dan does. I think he's more of a project. I don't think he's going to sniff the field. If he's on the field, it's mainly because we got a lot of guys hurt. So I'm hoping that's not going to be the one. Corey, I appreciate that. The coolest broadcaster on the Dallas Cowboys. I don't know about all that. I'm just here having fun, having a conversation with some friends. And if you want to say that it's more than that, then that's great. But it's just me just talking too much as usual. Pats fans always think they're underdogs. That's true. But you know the amazing things about Patriots fans? 15 years ago, you couldn't find any of them. Smith, Taco, Heath, and Lee are going to be very good defense. Okay. Heath is one of those ones that he seems to be a playmaker when he's out there. I still have doubts on his speed and things, but he's definitely, going to have more of an opportunity this year than in past years. So we'll see what happens with Heath. Terrence Williams definitely, I think, is going to end up having a good season. Here's what I like about Terrence Williams. Terrence Williams has brain farts from time to time and things like that. But Terrence Williams is a guy who, when a play breaks down, seems to get open. You will notice when Tony Romo would end up running around, scrambling, and everything else, Terrence Williams, more times than not, was the guy that he would go to. I like Terrence Williams' attitude of he could have made $2-3 million more a year going elsewhere. But that guy said, no, I want to stay here. And when you stay here to take less money, that means it's more than about just the money. It's about the love of the team. It's about wanting to do something here. And to me, that's a guy who will take another step up. Maybe we could have signed somebody who maybe had a little bit more talent. Definitely would have cost more money. But you may not have gotten the guy who's got a fire in his belly and wants to do something special with it. And that's the kind of guys that I like. And that's one of those things that I miss from growing up. You know, like I said, guys, I'm old. But before there was free agency, and don't get me wrong, free agency is great for the players because they deserve every nickel that they make, except for a few of those guys. We won't talk about, like Hainsworth and stuff. That guy wasn't worth $100 million. But for what these guys go through and the life after football that they go through and endure, they deserve all the money that they get. But before free agency, you had guys that were career Cowboys guys. You'll never see a doomsday defense where you knew every year you were going to have Harvey Martin and Randy White and Ed Too Tall Jones. That these guys hated the over-the-hill gang of, Grant and Dexter Manley and Man and stuff like that. That these guys, you always knew, those were Redskins. You always knew these were Cowboys. And you grew up knowing and loving these guys. But then when you looked at Deion Sanders, who went from Atlanta to San Francisco, won a ring, and then immediately the next year went to Dallas, you're just a hired gun. You've got no loyalty and no real love for anything other than the dollar. And that's what's missing. It's great that these guys work out in the offseason and they're buddy-buddy, but to me, it's something wrong with, when you help the guy up and, hey, man, how's the wife and kids and everything? It's like, wait. Aren't we in the middle of a battle? Aren't we in the middle of a war? I'm not trying to be buddy-buddy with you while we're on the field. I'm here to knock you on your ass and to win the damn game. And that's what's missing from football these days. It's evolved. I understand it. It's not like it used to be when I grew up, where we get a concussion and it'll throw some dirt on it and get back out there. I understand. We're trying to take care of the guys. That's why we don't have as many padded practices. We don't tackle in practice. But that shows up on the field. If you look at the tackling in football today, it's a dying art. Guys are just basically just kind of rolling their head and just spear hunting instead of trying to actually wrap up a guy and drive through the man and take him to the ground. I understand it's evolved, but I still miss the football that I grew up with. And if you guys haven't experienced that, you will not understand what I'm talking about. But when you watch, and on one of these Sundays you don't have football, go back and watch some of these old games and watch the shots. Half of the hits that are made are now illegal. It wasn't, illegal contact or, unnecessary roughness on the quarterback. You literally had to, you know, really do some damage to get a flag called on you and stuff. It was a totally different game. And again, I guess I'm a little bit old and I kind of miss it. Um, I like Zeke Scott. Okay. Eagles are ringless. Well, you're right on that one. One day they'll get one. I'll probably be dead and gone and dust in the wind, but one day they'll probably get one. What's good, Adam? Everything's good, man. It's Friday night. I'm here talking with all my friends, having a great time. The Dallas Cowboys are in training camp headed for Oxnard. We have football on tap. Joe Boo's over here celebrating, and I couldn't be happier. The only thing that could make me any happier is the NFL says we're not suspending Zeke, and somebody in the locker room grabs a hold of Zeke and says, Zeke, dude, I need you to tone that shit down. I need you to stay out of trouble, and I need you to focus on football. That's what I'd like to see. I'd like to see a coach that goes to Zeke and says, Zeke, dude, we're not putting up with that shit. We need you here focused on football. I understand you're 21 now, 22 tomorrow. But to go where we want to go, we need you focused 100%. No ifs, ands, or buts. So if I get that, I'd be happy as could be. It'd be a perfect evening. When will Mike talk during the live stream? Well, I got to tell you, how about them Cowboys?
One hell of a job, and the only thing else I got to say is, how about them Cowboys?
Mike is knocked the F out on the couch over there. He can't hang with me. Like I said, we've worked about 60 hours this week and stuff, and he's just worn out. So, shout out to rum and coffee because that's all I'm running on right now. But we'll see about that. Michael's a little shy when it comes to being on the camera and things. It's not a matter of he doesn't talk, because when it's just him and me, we're talking football all the time. But unless he's got something really important to say, you won't see him talking on the videos too much. Corey's birthday. Happy birthday, Corey. Shout out to you. Who plays fantasy football? Well, David, I do not do fantasy football, and everybody always asks me why I don't do it. I'm sorry, it's just something wrong about the idea of rooting for players. Oh, Jobu's got his refill in his shot glass right there. It's just something about rooting for players to do well on other teams. I mean, there's no way in the world I could ever root for a Redskin player to do well. Jobu's got that refill, and I've got mine right here. Corey, how old are you going to be tonight? Response to email. Saying, man, I don't think I saw an email today. Doesn't mean I didn't get one, but it's been a real busy day. No, Jag the Jester is actually really cool people, man. Tristan, we've got fans. Actually, we got an Eagle fan. We got a few Giants fans. I'm waiting for some Redskin fans to actually join in that talk football. And I've got no problem with anybody who likes another team in here. In fact, I enjoy it because I like to debate people from other teams and stuff. So we're all inclusive. And he definitely doesn't talk trash. But besides, unfortunately, the Jaguars, there's not a whole lot of talking going on anywhere with them. So why not come in and join with the Cowboys? You know, we're all family here. We welcome everybody. Was Dex hungover today? He said he was sick. I'm saying it was the potato salad he ate too much of that had been in the sun too long. And we'll leave it for that. But here's the thing. That was the last gasp before the season. Because from here on out, It's football, 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 football. It's kind of like a bachelor party. You know you're going to be married to the ball and chain for who knows how long. This is your last night out. So if Des Bryant had his big party in his hometown, spent $15,000 on barbecue to feed everybody, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with him doing good in the community and including people. And if he had a little bit to drink and was feeling bad today, I'm okay with that situation. It would have been different if he had been in a strip club all night, like in Varsity Blues, and then he came back hungover like that. That'd be a different story. But I kind of like the Des Bryant that is evolving now. The guy who, even though he didn't get a lot of catches last year, still realized it's not about how many catches I get, it's about us winning a game. So if it means I need to block and only get one or two catches and we win, I'm cool with that. But his time came as the season went on. You noticed how him and Dak really started to get together, and I think that is going to be a fantastic combination this year. And my bold prediction is that this will be Des Bryant's best year ever. That's mine. Now we'll see if that happens. But when you looked at the yardage they were making per completion the last 8 games of the season, highest of Des' career. And I believe with that offense, if you got Zeke running in there, Mark, you made you leave. Okay, I made you leave. Okay. What made me leave JMU? Lordy. I was an idiot. I just got tired of going to school. It's when you're young and dumb. I, earned a scholarship and decided, I'm tired of school. I look back now and it's like, you freaking idiot. But in retrospect, you wonder how, when you do one thing different, how it would have changed your life. The thing is, if I had stayed at JMU and played football, would I still have my son and my daughter? Would I still be married to my wonderful wife right now? How would my life have been different? In fact, I only applied to 2 schools. I applied to Virginia Tech and JMU. The way I decided on which one to go to was I threw them both in the air. The one that I caught was JMU. I said, okay, that's where I'm going. What if I caught Virginia Tech? Probably would have met Charles Haley. Probably would have met my wife. Probably would have my son who's over here or my daughter. So it's amazing how things will change in life just because of one decision. And we're faced with these decisions that can alter your life every single day. And at this point, I was just dumb and didn't go back to school. But maybe it was because that was the path that I needed to take to be where I am now. Could have been Dr. Holmes. Okay. Yeah, I don't think I would have been a doctor. Truth be told, I'll be honest with you, and I like to think that you guys know a lot about me. School was hard for me. I'm dyslexic. I get it up here, but I can't. It's hard to get it down on paper. I could see it right up here, and then when I'd write it out, it would just look like garbage. I can know it over and over again, but it just wouldn't come out right. And was considered learning disabled. I don't think that I'm stupid. It's just something didn't connect in there. And so anybody out there who has problems in school, don't think that you're stupid. I realize that people learn differently. Things that I had difficulty in would be like going to the library, looking and finding books because you had to go through the Dewey Decimal System, or they say look up a word, and it would be like, how can I look up the word if I think knee starts with N and not K? But what I found out is that I'm a very visual person. I can do math in my head because it would drive my teachers crazy when we do geometry. They'd say, show your work. And I'd say, I don't need to show the work. The answer is, blah, blah, blah. They're like, how'd you do that? I said, I don't know. It's just, that's what it is. They're like, you didn't do the work. I said, I don't know how to do it on paper, but I can tell you what the answer is because that's the way I see it. When you see me do work and stuff, like building this desk that's in here, building this is kind of like what you'll see in Dallas. If you ever go in the locker room and do the tours, I couldn't find the locks to match it. But I saw it, and so I came home, and I just built it. I didn't do any plans or any drawings for it. I just get it in my head and know that's what I want to accomplish. And that's my gift. So people will learn differently. And what I learned is if I watch it, I know it. things that I had problems passing in tests in school, I can pass now just because I've seen it on TV or I've seen it on the internet, because that's the way I learn. So I don't know how I got talking about all this, but that's just the way it was. And I guess, because of JMU. And studying and doing schoolwork and stuff like that, I just absolutely, positively hate it because I sucked at it. So I think that's part of the reason why I ended up not going back to school. So take solace in everybody has a gift, and it's a matter of finding out what your gift is. I'm good at just talking off the top of my head. There's no script. I just sit down here. When I do my videos, generally speaking, it's one take. I come down, tell you what's on my mind, and I'm gone. And I spit it out, and it's gone. So take that as you will. Corey, wow, 34. I would love to be 34 again. Jeez. Man. The things I could do at 34 that I just can't do anymore. Well, shout out. This one's for you. Happy birthday, Corey. Yep. Leos are definitely bossy people because I know my dad is one, as well as my daughter and my brother. Ray Glass, I'm glad you're enjoying this. And man, the thing that always amazes me about this is that this hour always goes by quickly, and there's never a problem with figuring out what to talk about. What's worse, Mark? Giants, Eagles, or Redskins? I think that the Eagles will play better than they did last year. I think the Giants are going to regress, and I think the Redskins are going to regress. Who's going to be in the basement? I think the Giants will probably still be second in the division, and I think the Eagles and Redskins are going to battle it out for the basement, with, I think, the Redskins being in the basement. I'm still mystified how they always seem to make the wrong move. And how about them Cowboys? Did you get paid today? Dak's in a video today with little kids that he has a celebrity crush on Texas-born actress and Grand Prairie, Selena Gomez thoughts. Well, interesting. Well, I tell you what, he can pull that off. Being the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys, definitely famous. At the moment, I would like him to be focused on winning a Super Bowl before he's worried about trying to hook up with Selena Gomez. But hey, a man can do what a man can do. You never know. That would be an interesting one. I have to check that one out. Selena Gomez. It's possible. He's young. He's got a great career. He's famous. He's good looking. Why not? Ray, here's the thing. You want to know what the deal is with the Eagle fans? They know. Let me go ahead and pull out a cigar here for that one. For Joe Boo. We'll grab a Cuban cigar and shout out to Cuba because we do have some subscribers from Cuba. Joe Boo, here's a cigar for you on this one. The Eagles are hanging around because they want to be close to Super Bowls. They don't have any. They know we got 5. And maybe they're just kind of thinking, let me hold one for you. Can I hold one for you for a minute? I ain't mad at them. I always like to... Fuck you, Jack. Okay, come on now. Keep the language clean now, Eagle fan 12. I get no problem with Eagle fans, though. They're actually some cool people. In fact, I've got some really good friends that are Eagle fans. Like, shout out to Tommy Eagle, the moron. I'm trying to get him on the show. He's just had back surgery and everything else. I think it's from carrying that burden of not having a Super Bowl ring for all those years. But I'm okay with Eagle fans, and I'm cool with any football fan because in the end, it doesn't matter if you're black, white, green, gray, young, old, whatever. Football is something we can all agree with and all have fun with. And with that, it has actually been an hour. So it is time for me to get up on out of here. I'm going to take some more cold meds to try and see if I can knock out the rest of this cold. And I think I'm going to pass the F out because I'm tired as can be after I watched that documentary on Dak Prescott. So, friends, thank you guys for the super chat. How about the Cowboys? Thank you for donating to the Patreon page. And thank God the off season is now over. Training camp opens up in Oxnard this weekend, and we have football back, friends. We have made it through the winter, and we're going to be even stronger. as the season goes on. We'll be back Monday night, 9 o'clock Eastern. Thank you guys for being part of the Joe B Sports Report. Any other news on the Dallas Cowboys, you know I'm going to be bringing it here. And I want to thank each and every one of you guys from all 132 or is that 232 countries in the world that have subscribed to the Joe B Sports Report. And with that, I am saying good night.